Right now on Hoosier News Source, IU still plans to have on-campus COVID labs by mid-October. And learn how you can register to vote in the upcoming election.
And I have how cooler temperatures will kick off October, as well as tornado history from here in Monroe County. Hoosier News Source starts now.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier News Source. I'm Ella Rhoades. We begin Hoosier News Source with the latest COVID-19 updates. Andrew Limparski is on campus with the latest numbers from the university. Andrew?
Thanks, Ella. It was another week of decreasing cases on and off campus. Let's take a look at the numbers. Out of nearly 10,000 tests, just 140 this week were positive. That's a new low for the university. And if we break down the positivity rates, in Greek houses, it was just 1.8%, down from 3.1% the week before. In residence halls, just 1.5%, down from 2.2%. And off campus, only 0.8% of students tested positive, which is down from 1.7%. Quarantine and isolation dorms are just 14% full. The last 2 weeks, that number was at 21%. Also important to note, we may be seeing broader and more efficient testing in just a few weeks. Director of Mitigation Testing Dr. Aaron Carroll says IU is finishing up their own COVID-19 testing labs. The labs would allow tests to be processed here in Indiana instead of New Jersey, where they're sent now. 2 labs are planned to be installed in Indianapolis and 1 right here in Bloomington. The labs will allow the university to complete up to 15,000 tests per day. Dr. Carroll says it's his hope that they'll be done by mid-October. And that's all for this week's COVID-19 update. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Andrew Limparski. Ella, back to you.
Thanks, Andrew. Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb announced that the state is ready to move into the last stage of reopening, Stage 5. Under Stage 5 of Indiana's Back on Track reopening plan, restaurants can open at full capacity, but they must keep to social distancing regulations. Face masks are still required in public. Group gatherings cannot exceed 500 people, or they will require permission from local health departments. Monroe County, however, still limits group gatherings to 15 people, and no date has been set as to when that will be lifted. For more information on COVID restrictions within the state of Indiana, check out backontrack.in.gov. President Trump announced Amy Coney Barrett as his nominee to replace late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The nomination strikes concern within the Democratic Party for her devout Catholic conservative values and her ability to roll back abortion rights and discredit the Affordable Care Act. IU law professor Kevin Brown explains what this could mean for the American public.
I think I would expect that she's likely to allow for more religion to move into the public sphere, which is to say she's likely to be less hostile to religion than our Supreme Court has been.
Senate Republicans have 35 days to confirm this court nomination before Election Day on November 3rd. Voting during a pandemic looks different than previous elections. Hoosier News Source reporter Lexi Vanetti tells us how we can register to vote this November. Lexi?
With the upcoming election on November 3rd, it is important to register to vote. Registration cutoff is October 5th, coming up this next Monday, so it is important to make sure that you get on one way or another to register to vote. There are many examples around campus, but one example specifically is this IDS quiz. The IDS posted a very graphic guide on how to register in multiple situations. Whether you are out of state, in state, or in a different county, you can access registration through their guideline on idsnews.com. Posters have a scanner that take you directly to iuturbovote.org to register, and you can find these around campus. Even social media websites like Instagram are a way to access registration. You'll need a valid ID when you're registering to vote, whether that is online or in person, so make sure you have that, and it'll take about 5 to 10 minutes. Continue to follow IUS TV News for election updates. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Lexi. And learn how to register to vote, visit provost.indiana.edu/vote. IU President McRobbie announced that he will recommend the removal of former IU President Jordan's name from on-campus locations at an upcoming Board of Trustees meeting. The former IU president participated in the eugenics movement. McRobbie and the Jordan Committee plan on changing the names of Jordan Hall, Jordan Avenue Parking Garage, and Jordan River. The city of Bloomington and IU plan to work together to rename Jordan Avenue. Coming up on Hoosier News Source, we hear the latest on the IUSG congressional elections. And Caroline Clare joins us with this week's forecast. Welcome back to Hoosier News Source. Caroline Clare has the latest on this week's cooler weather. Caroline?
Thanks, Ella. 18 years ago, on September 20th, 2002, an F3 tornado made its way through Indiana. This was just one of multiple that struck the state that day. Beginning in Monroe County, winds estimated to have reached 160 miles per hour, making this tornado the second largest in Indiana's history. Although there were no deaths, this 2.5-hour storm caused nearly $160 million in damage. Luckily, we shouldn't have to worry about tornadoes this week. However, the polar jet stream will be the cause of cooler temperatures here in Bloomington. As you can see with our polar jet stream, it is beginning to dip down into the Midwest, bringing with it cool air mass. And basically what the jet stream does is the fastest winds in the atmosphere, usually located around 200 to 300 millibars in pressure. It separates the cold polar air mass from the warm tropical air mass. And during this time of year, it dips down into the United States, bringing temperatures down to start our winter season. But how much cooler will it be? If we look at the extended forecast, we can see quite a decrease in temperatures. All throughout the week, 60s and 50s, even dropping into the 30s at night on some days. So to make sure, enjoy this sunny end of September as we welcome a cool autumn season this October. Ella, back to you.
Thanks, Caroline. Alpha Epsilon Pi was recently put on cease and desist after violating Monroe County Health Department regulations. The health department claimed that the fraternity had intentionally instituted, permitted, or maintained conditions which may transmit the spread of COVID-19. They have been placed on probation 5 times since 2016. Following reports of extreme hazing, non-compliance, dishonest conduct, and assault allegations. The organization is closed now through summer 2021. To learn more about how COVID-19 is affecting IU Greek life, you can go to studentaffairs.indiana.edu. IU student government experienced a record-breaking congressional election last week. Undergraduate and graduate students voted for representatives from their respective schools, along with representatives from their housing division. IUSG reported that 212 candidates ran for Congress, which is the most in IU history. Freshman Salome Cloto ran for representative for the College of Arts and Sciences.
Government and politics is something that I'm very passionate about. I'm majoring in journalism and political science, so when I found out about it, I thought it'd be an interesting experience to apply and campaign, even if I didn't get elected. So I didn't really think that much about it, it just happened.
Compared to last year, IUSG reports a 350% increase in the number of voters. IUSG announced the results of the election Monday afternoon. Lexi Vanetti joins us with the latest on IU sports. Lexi?
Thanks, Ella. Yesterday, head coach Tom Allen confirmed that defensive back Marcelino Ball tore his ACL and would be out for the season. He said,
I feel like we got the depth to be able to rotate different guys. Right now, it's going to be Bryant Fitzgerald as the number 1 guy there at that spot, and then training DK Bonham to be his backup.
And the team kicks off on October 23rd against Penn State. And the NCAA approved a plan for the remaining 2020 fall championships in the spring. Bracket sizes will be filled at 75% of the normal capacity. But hey, the plan is back in action. Water polo starts back up on January 16th, followed by women's volleyball, which aims to start January 22nd, and cross country on January 23rd. Men's and women's soccer will kick off February 3rd and field hockey on February 12th. Overall, a plan is set and in motion. Students have mixed feelings about being able to support fall sports in the spring.
So it makes me happy knowing that I'll probably have a better chance to do that in the spring, hopefully. But at the same time, like you said, there's a lot of uncertainty of where the pandemic is going to be at that point.
And every week we'll have IU sports news here on IUS TV. Back to you, Ella.
Thanks, Lexi, and thank you for watching this week's episode of Hoosier News Source. To learn more about this week's stories, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at IUSTV News. I'm Ella Rhoades from Bloomington, Indiana. We'll see you next time.